Today's trend we discuss about what is the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics is the study of decision made by people and businessmen regarding the allocation of resources and price at which they trade goods and services. It considers taxation, regulations, and government legislation. Microeconomics focuses on supply and demand and other forces that determine price level in the economy. It takes a bottom up approach to analyzing the economy. In the other word, microeconomics tries to understand human choices, decision, and the allocation of resources. As we also have studied in the before lecture that the subject matter of the economics is divided into two main branches. They are microeconomics and macroeconomics. The term micro and macro were first used in economics by economist Ragnar Frisch in 1933. These terms were derived from Greek word micros and macros, representatively, which refers to the small individual unit, and macros means large. As we are studying about the microeconomics, I stand for the individual. Mainly, microeconomics theory is a traditional concept. The foundation of the microeconomics was Wealth of Nation, which was published by Adam Smith in 1776. All the economics theories of classical economics were mainly microeconomics in nature. I have also make you understand that microeconomics is related to the small and individual. Now, having said that, microeconomics doesn't try to answer or explain what forces should take place in a market. Rather, it tries to explain what happens when there are changes in certain conditions. For example, microeconomics examines how an economy could maximize its protection and capacity so that it could lower prices and better compete. A lot of microeconomics information can be gleaned from company financial statement. Microeconomics mainly all the economics theories of classical economics were mainly microeconomics in nature. The famous economists of this period were Adam Smith and his followers J.V. Say, P. Gu, J.S. Mill, David Ricardo, as well as Alfred Marshall, etc. These economists are the pillar of the classicism. The terms micro is derived from the Greek word, as I also explained you, micros, which refers to small. Thus, microeconomics deals with the analysis of small individual units of the economy, such as individual consumer, individual farms, and small groups of individual units like various industry and market. And Adam Smith is considered the father of microeconomics, who is also the father of economics. According to Smith's philosophy of free market, microeconomics is based on the assumptions of the free market. They consider that the government should be minimum government intervention and taxation in the free market. Adam Smith considered that an individual hand, which is the tendency of free market to regulate themselves by means of competition, supply and demand, and self-interest, was popular at that time. Now, we also explain what's the characteristics of microeconomics. I have also explained you microeconomics is concerned with the small parts of the economy. It studies individual firms and consumer. It studies the economy in a disaggregate manners. It means individual units, a family, a house, and also. Microeconomics assume the existence of full employment in the total economy. Microeconomics consider that the full employment always found in our economy. Its objectives are to analyze the process by which scarce resources are allocated among alternatives uses. Microeconomics analyzes economic phenomena. Therefore, microeconomics is a method of partial equilibrium analysis. Its important variables are individual prices, demand, supply, income, etc. It is an application in the capitalist economy where price mechanism play an important role, and microeconomics is also considered. The other name is price theory. Now, microeconomics involves several key principles, including but not limited to demand, supply, and equilibrium. Prices are determined by the law of supply and demand. In a perfectly competition market, suppliers offer the same price demanded by consumer. This creates economic equilibrium. As we also studies that in the market, supply and demand is one of the most critical concept at the microeconomics level. This is the comparison of the level of the consumer demand for particular goods to available supply in the marketplace. In a highly competitive industry in which consumer possess many choices, supply might exceed demand over time. This can be cause some business to fail. Your opportunity to succeed in the meeting demand may be higher if you offer and promote a quality product and give the innovation in the product with desired and the desired benefits. And business pricing strategies correlate strongly with microeconomics factors. The ideal or equilibrium price point exists at the point at which quantity supplied in the market exactly equal demand. The higher your price is, the lower size of the population you will buy. And if you offer lower prices, then the market demand will be high. Now, prediction theory. Um, this principle is the study of how goods and services are created or manufactured. Microeconomics also study the prediction theory, in which the producer how exploring how firms convert inputs, how a firm use inputs and get maximum output. Inputs just labor, capital, raw materials, and into output goods and services. Investigation the cost of the production and how they influence a firm's decision on output level and pricing, studying markets where many firms sell identical products and perfect in the perfect competition, um, and single firm can influence the market prices because the prices is influenced with the demand and supply of the market, and demand and supply determine the price. Just like a monopoly examining market where a single firms control the entire supply of a good or services and can influence the market price. Just like the oligopoly, analyzing markets where a few large firms dominate the how they interact strategically, and monopolistic competition looking at the markets where many firms sell similar but not identical products, allowing for some degrees of market power as they are that's the soap, and the product is seen in the brand name as soap, Lifebuoy, Rexona, Moti, and etc. etc. Cost of production, according to this theory, price of goods or services is determined by the cost of the resources using during production. uh, in the microeconomics, cost play a very important role. Every producer wants every producer wants to investigation the cost of production and how they influence a firm's decision on output level and pricing, marginal cost, average cost, total cost. In the microeconomics, we also study all these types of cost, implicit cost, opportunity cost, labor economics. In the microeconomics, this principle look at workers, employers, and tries to understand patterns of wages, employment and income, understanding how wages are determined and the dynamic between employers and employees, and analyzing how capital is allocated and role of interest rate, studying the factor influencing the rent and use of land. Just like microeconomics also studies the welfare economics, efficiency, how resources can be allocated to maximize total social welfare, equity, evaluating the fairness of the distribution of resources and income, and also studying goods and public goods and private goods, studying goods and are non-exploitable and non-revival, and how they are provided, and the society can get some maximum satisfaction and beneficial. These rules, as I have also explained, the meaning, I think you have to totally understood what is microeconomics, what is the characteristics of the microeconomics, and what several principles include in the microeconomics. The rule in microeconomics flow from a set of different laws and theorems. Now we are, on the other hand, now we are studying the macroeconomics. As I always say you that microeconomics, on the other hand, we study of the in now I have also studies about the microeconomics. Now we study because microeconomics and macroeconomics are two branches of the economics. On the other hand, studies the behavior of a country and how its policies impact the economy as a whole. It analyzes entire industries and economics rather than individual or specific companies. It means studies and economics overall performance and behavior, focusing on factors like economic growth, unemployment, inflation, and government policies. It also macroeconomics donates the comprehensive view or a big picture perspective of the whole economic picture. In macroeconomics, the focus is on aggregate economic variables such as total output, gross domestic product or GDP, total employment, aggregate price level, inflation, and all overall level of economic activities in a state of examining individual markets or firms. Macroeconomics analyzes the behavior of the entire economy. Macroeconomics, as I have also written in this SLM, macroeconomics examine economy-wide phenomena such as gross domestic product (GDP) and how it is affected by the changes in unemployment, nation income, rates of growth, and price level. Macroeconomics analyze how an increase or decrease in the net exports impact our nation's capital account, and how gross domestic product GDP is impacted by the unemployment rate. It means macroeconomics is closely associated with the policy formulation and management. It aims to provide policy makers with insight into the functioning of the economy and the potential impact of the policy measures. Macroeconomics studies the effectiveness of fiscal policy, government spending, and taxation and expenditures and monetary policy, central banks action. As you all know that fiscal policy is made by the government, and monetary policy is made by the central bank, and central bank make the monetary policy to control the inflation and deflation in the economy in achieving economic objectives such as full employment, price stability, sustainable economic growth. Macroeconomics examine various macroeconomics focus on aggregate econometric correlations, which is why government and their agencies rely on macroeconomics to formulate economic and fiscal policy. As I have also studies that macroeconomics examine various aggregate economic variables to understand the overall performance of the economy, as GDP, unemployment rate. GDP means the total market value of the all final goods and services produced within a country border in a specific time, and unemployment is also studies in the macroeconomics. The percentage of the labor force that is unemployed and actively seeking employed employment. Just like it, inflation rate is also studies in the macroeconomics. The rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services is rising over time. It's just like aggregate demands and supply, the total demands for goods and services in an economy and the total supply of goods and services respectively. Just like microeconomists often use simplified model to analyze the relationship between different macroeconomics variables. Those models such as aggregate demand, aggregate supply model, the Keynesian cross model, ISLM model provide frameworks for understanding how changes in the one variables affect the other and how various policy measures impact the economy. Macroeconomics not study on the not study on the national. It's also study the international perspective. Macroeconomics also consider the global context and international economy. It examines factors such as international trade, exchange rate, capital flows, and global economic interdependencies. Global events and development can have significant implications for a country's macroeconomics perform, making is essential to analyze international dimension. And microeconomics is also study the dynamic nature. The economy is dynamic and are subject to fluctuations over time. Macroeconomics seeks to understand the causes of the economic fluctuation, such as business cycle, characterize why periods of expansion and contractions. It explores the factor driving economic growth as well as the causes of recession, depressions, aiming to develop policies to stabilize the economy and promote long-term prosperities. The nature of macroeconomics around analyzing the economy as a whole, understanding the relationship between aggregate economic variables, formulating uh, policies to achieve macroeconomics objectives such as stable price, full employment, sustainable growth. It provides a framework for comprehensively managing the overall performance of a country. So I think you have totally understood what is the microeconomics and what is the macroeconomics. Now with the help of this chart, we see the difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. Uh, Definition: microeconomics is the study of economic action of individual and a small group of individual. I have also studied with you that microeconomics is taken the Greek word micros. It means small. It means it studies the individual, unit, a family, a farm, a industry. Okay. Just like a macroeconomics studies the economy as a whole, not a single unit, but combination of the whole. I have also that macroeconomics examine the total economy, overall the economy. It is also studied not only national, it also studied international level. Next, particular households, farms, and industry. In the microeconomics, as I have also explained you, that particular household, farms, and industries comes in the microeconomics. And in the macroeconomics, national income, general price level, national output, unemployment, and the poverty. All issues are considered in the macroeconomics. The objective of the microeconomics on demand side is to maximize utility, whereas on the study side is to maximize profit at the minimum cost. Microeconomics is related to the consumer, uh, consumer. Uh, consumer and producer equilibrium. So microeconomics also study that the desires are unlimited and the resources are limited. How the match takes the choose place within the unlimited desires, and how the demand side is maximum, how the consumer gets the maximum utility to use the product. Just like a supply side also help the consumer how he can minimum the cost and get maximum profit. Just like a full employment in the macroeconomics, full employment, how economy, it is the main objective of a economy. Full employment, price stability, economic growth, and favorable balance of payment. Macroeconomics also studies all these variables, how economy can with the help of the policies, monetary policies and fiscal policies, how economy can get full employment, price stability, economic growth, balance of trade, balance of payment, etc. Basic microeconomics price mechanism which operates with the help of demand and supply forces. Microeconomics mostly focus on the price because it is also known the other name price theory. And in the microeconomics is also help to determine the price particular goods price with the help of the demand and supply forces. Just like macroeconomics, national income, output, employment, which are determined by the aggregate demand and aggregate supply. Macroeconomics is also known the other name income and employment theory. And in this macroeconomics, we study national income, output, employment, which are determined by the aggregate. As you know, I have also explained you that macroeconomics study the aggregate demand, aggregate supply, and the whole economy. Now, rational behavior of the individual. In the microeconomics, we study the rational behavior of the individual because microeconomics also takes focus how a man can choices within and give the priority his unlimited desires and choose which desire should be complete firstly and secondly, and give the mm, give it a place which desire should be completely first, because the resources are limited and the desires are unlimited, and one desire is finished, the other desires is rises. So macroeconomics consider that human being is a rational and he can also take the place choose. Now, just like a macroeconomics, aggregate volume of output of an economy and extent to which its resources are employed, how economy can develop, how economy can get maximum welfare, satisfaction, and how economy can get a general price level. Limitation, existence of full employment. Microeconomics considered that the full employment always found in an economy, and the invisible hands works in an economy, but it is a not a real assumptions. It's always considered the full employment found in an economy, while never full employment is found in an economy. Involvement of fallacy of composition, which doesn't prove true. Macroeconomics consider that many things which is follows one person, it's not true that it's a follow to the whole economy. Suppose a person give the preference to the saving, and saving is a good for a per person. If whole economy give the and the whole economy start to saving, the depression will become in economy. I think, student, in this video, I also explained what is microeconomics, what's the characteristics of the microeconomics, what is macroeconomics, what is the characteristics of macroeconomics, the scope of microeconomics, what's key principles comes in the microeconomics, and what's key principle comes in the macroeconomic. What is the difference between micro and micro? I think you have to understand well what is microeconomics and macroeconomics. थैंक यू स्टूडेंट, एंड आपसे अब नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मिलते हैं. बाय बाय.